Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone, to another amazing episode of Referrals Podcast. Yes, I always call them amazing because they are. I was just telling him off there, it's just like I get pumped. This is what we're nearing 300th episode, and I still get pumped doing these conversations and interviews, and I learn so much from every single one of these. And I have to tell you, I am so excited to learn from today's guest. I've watched a lot of his videos online. I've had the opportunity to coach him, and I just know so much about him, and yet there's a lot I don't know about him. He's achieved so much in life, and you're going to love him just as much as I do. And I have to tell you, that was one of the things I really, like, as I was putting, we got show notes, right, for every one of our shows. And he's got such a vast and powerful background of mastery and excellence that it was one of those, like, which avenue do we pick and go down? Because we could end up, like, meandering. And you know what? We're going to meander on today's. We're going to go a lot of different directions, but here's what I know, is that the true North Compass is going to be love, generosity, and appreciation. And the true North Compass is what it takes to be a success. How do you go from 20 million in production to over 200 million, over 250 million in a very competitive market, in a very competitive industry? And then how do you become influential to many different groups? How do you build your power team that is around you? Aren't there certain people that you should partner with in your marketplace so that you both can soar and go to new levels? And this guy is the master of that. So that's what we're going to cover today. I will tell you, I have to give a huge shout out to Lynn Faselli. She is kicking butt in event mastery. She just did her third event and got 21 referrals from just her third event. And I just have to give her a fist bump and a high five because she's a master implementer and doing what is just incredible for where she's at in her business. She also was just awarded number one agent in her office. So, we're not about being number one, but what I love is that when you focus on the people, the numbers will take care of themselves, right? We're in a people business, not a numbers business. If you focus on the people, the numbers will take care of themselves. And that's the truth. Take care of your people, and that'll take care of the numbers. So, and then also I need to throw out that November is here. It's not November, it's November. 30 notes in 30 days, our 30-day challenge, November. Check it out at Notvember, N-O-T-E, Vember, VEMBER.com. Do this challenge with us. You're challenged to write 30 handwritten notes in 30 days, and every day I coach you on exactly who to write that note to. So I give you the trigger. Do you have to write it to that person? You don't have to. But you know what? There is a sequence and there is kind of a correlation to the notes that I tell you to write. And I will tell you, lots and lots of referrals have been gotten from writing 30 notes in 30 days. Isn't it time for you to put your appreciation in writing? Notvember.com. Check it out. Make it happen. We hope to see you there. All right. So today's guest, this bio is so short compared to what the bio could be. The podcast. Seriously. Wally Elibiary is the owner of Team Wally Home Loans based out of Plano, Texas, which is near Dallas, Texas. He has over 23 years experience in the mortgage industry, and he and his team closed over $250 million in production. Wally believes that as a that was $250 million in 1 year. And Wally believes that as a mortgage professional, he has a responsibility to help clients professionally manage their mortgage debt. After all, he helped them obtain possibly the largest debt on their plate. Wally has broken all kinds of personal and professional records in the mortgage world, not including his Achilles recently, but we'll talk about that in a second. But he's most proud of the repeat and referral business that his team runs on, and the most recent accomplishment of earning the Lifetime Achievement Award at Todd Duncan's Sales Mastery. When not helping clients, Wally can be found on the golf course or spending time with his lovely wife and his two very handsome sons and I put those words in, Braden and Alex. And let's welcome to Referrals Podcast, Mr. Wally Elibiary. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's very, very generous. I can't wait to have Nikki watch this. She still makes me take crap. So I'm excited about it. But you just I just found this is a picture in my favorites folder in my phone. It was
Oh my,
you and I back when we met at Sales Mastery. It was January. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was 2017.
oh my
Um,
gosh.
but yeah, we
That,
go a long time back, and you've been such a great friend, such a great mentor. And I remember calling you, I think it was like 2019. I parted ways with a big lead gen realtor of mine. And here I am driving back from Austin, just in tears, thinking like my business is go kaput. And I remember calling you, and you were some beach somewhere. And you picked up, and you were just like, you're consoling me. You've always been a great friend, Michael, and a great mentor, and definitely you mean a lot to me. So thank you for that.
well, my pleasure. Absolutely. And you know, you call, I answer. That's how it works, right? I mean, that's the thing that so many people laugh about when sometimes I'll do an example in class and I'll talk about calling people and they're like, when I call, people don't answer. And I'm like, well, why do you think that is? Like, I mean, instead of just like brushing it off, I'm like, let's unpack one of the most basic things. I mean, and that's the thing about like how we do business versus what a lot of other people do is when people call, a lot of times they've got commission breath. They're asking for something. They're trying to get something. Dear God, they're asking for referrals. I mean, that is the way to get into the NFL. And I mean, no friends league, right? No friends left league. But it's one of those where when you call or I call, they do answer. Why? Because they know it's going to be positive. They know it's going to be an opportunity. They know that if they're looking for a suggestion, they're actually going to implement it. So I think there's a big thing to unpack even just from that in the very beginning. So speaking of the very beginning, I mean, on this, I wanna talk about like how you built relationships with wealth advisors and financial planners and CPAs. I want to talk about how you built relationships with real estate agents. I want to talk about a blank lane highway. How many lanes should we have? And I want to talk about how to take every mortgage application or initial consultation into 6 more opportunities. And I want to talk about going from 20 million to over 200 million. And maybe we'll get to touch into your gifting program and kind of what the future looks like for Team Wally. But I want to start with, what are the 2 or 3 lessons that you learned like before the age of 20 that became influential for you the rest of your life, right? Like an upbringing, childhood, all the way through high school, maybe even a little bit of college. And there's something a coach said, or just something you learned by a mistake you made, or whatever it may be.
Yeah. So what Michael knows and most of you don't know is I accepted Christ when I was 14 years old. And that's important, the fact of that I grew up Muslim. So I was born in Cairo, Egypt, and I moved to the States when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And then, so I accepted Christ when I was 14 years old, which most people wouldn't think was a big deal. The challenge for me was my father
Mm-hmm.
was a Muslim imam, which is like a pastor for a church. So when they found out when I was 16, I was exited out of the family and on my own. So imagine graduating high school, living out of your car, or imagine going from surfing from couch to couch, trying to find a meal. So what that taught me at an early age, and I was 17, going to
It
18
didn't
when I.
teach you not to be a Christian. I can't believe that. It's like, why not just give up and go back and like, all right, I get it. I get it. That's like, I mean, I really want a roof over my head and I really want to sleep in my bed again, right? I mean, that's a powerful story right there,
Thank
right?
you.
I mean,
Thank you.
just the conviction of what you
Well,
displayed, at
I mean,
14 to 16.
yeah, I mean, people give me way too much credit. At the end of the day, the way I learned more about Christ is I was dating a young lady, and that young lady broke up with me when I was 14, and she said that her father said that she can only date someone who's a Christian. And here I am, a little confident in myself. I'm like, well, how do I get back with her? okay, I need to act like I'm going to go to church with her to try to get back with her. Long story short, I ended up going to church, falling in love with Christ, and this falling in love, this forgiveness and unconditional love. And today, golly, almost 30 years later, we're still good friends. But it's one of these things that it's you follow your heart. So that if you ask me what are his top three things I learned before the age of 20, number
That's
one
right.
is follow your heart. The ability to love on others and to feel loved is 110% comes from following your heart. And if your heart leads you somewhere that doesn't turn out well for you, you're at least confident you're true to yourself. So that would be number two. So one is follow your heart, and number two would be always be true to yourself. I'm a big fan of making mistakes. I'm a big fan of failing forward. I'm also a big fan of what can I learn from those mistakes. And the third answer would be your opportunity is your responsibility. My opportunity for wealth is my responsibility. My opportunity to be a great father and a great leader for my family, it's my responsibility. My opportunity to be a great husband or a great professional in the mortgage industry is my responsibility. Your opportunity is your responsibility and no one else's.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know that was not a scripted question and not a scripted answer. Like, come on. Like, that's our show today. We could end there. And if people would just follow their heart, be true to themselves, authenticity, right? And then realize that where they're sitting right now and why they're sitting where they're at right now is 100% their responsibility. And the opportunity of what to do next is 100% theirs. I just love that. All right, so you're going through. I mean, what a time, right? And then when in your life did you get into mortgages?
The age of 19. So graduated high
Yeah.
school. I sold cars for like maybe 9 months, and I realized it was good money. It was fun. The sale. I got into sales and I learned I was pretty good at it. And then I'm working like bell to bell. So that more in the car business, that's like from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. And you're 18 years old making 5-7 grand a month. You think like you're rich. And this dude rolls up in a Mazda Miata. His name is Kurt Gonzalez. Rolls up in a Mazda Miata. He had a tan. He had no shirt on. Just looked like he just came from he got done playing golf. He had flip flops on. And I ended up selling him a Jeep. But I was like, dude, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a loan officer. I golf 3-4 times a week. And by the end of the conversation, I'm like, dude, I need to come work for you. I need to be your loan officer assistant. He's like, blow me off, blow me off, blow me off. I'm like, listen, I will work for you for free, right? Just to learn and just to be a sponge. And he's like, yeah, but if you work for me, I've got to work more myself. So I'm out. I'm like, all right, this guy. So I ended up going being a loan officer assistant to a top producer here in Dallas. His name is Rodney Anderson. And I was 19 years old, got in the mortgage business as a loan officer assistant. What I loved is the school of hard knocks. Yeah, so this is like 1999. I would sit in the back corner of Rodney's office with my tape recorder, recording his loan applications and his clients and all this stuff. There was no scripts or anything. He was like, hey, just sit here and listen to what I do and do what I say. And as I'm getting home, I'm listening to these tape recordings as I get home and later on the night, and I realize there's consistencies of what he says. There's things that are similar to what he says. Before you know it, I'm making scripts of what he's saying, and I'm memorizing those scripts, and I'm watching the habits, and I'm watching how there's consistent steps in his process. And you realize the dude had a model, the dude had standards, the dude had systems. And just watching it being that sponge, I taught myself the mortgage business by just going home and journaling and downplaying the notes that I learned from him. So it was a great, super blessed to have a mentor like that at such a young, early age, through like 19, like 21 years old. And I met someone named Todd Duncan, where we both know. I went to one of his seminars in California back in 2001. And just really hit it off. He teaches something called high trust selling, and is really about really getting emotionally connected with your clients. And through that same program, that's where I met Michael from originally. And he's one of the speakers out there. And When I read Michael's book, it just spoke to me. Um, I am a very emotional person, and I love being in my feelings. Not too much in my head, but in my heart is what I really enjoy doing. And it was great about, you listen to Michael's book, you listen to just the world out there from the referral podcast and so on and so on. And it's truly a sweet and loving and caring, authentic way to grow a substantial business. So before you know it, like Michael's got models and systems like we all know, and the 7 levels and really understanding that at a high level and being able to implement that in the business. So I've been in mortgage 24 years, and that's kind of what I was super lucky to have that foundation kind of early in my career.
Yeah, well, I mean, all right. So, what I love about this is you start as a loan officer assistant, you know, and then, now you're over 200 million in production. Talk to me about, like, how did you go? Like, I'm guessing your production per year, but there were inflection years, right? I remember I did 37 transactions my first year, 87 my second, right? And what was it? It was honing the housewarming party system was a big part of it, right? And going full time. The third year I did 187 transactions, right? So there were these big jumps. There are some people that do 40 transactions their entire life and they're happy with it, right? But you had these jumps along the way. What do you think were the inflection point creators as you went through your career? I remember one of your interviews, you talked about going from 2,000 people in your database to 12,000 to over 23,000 in 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years, Wally. That's amazing. So what are some of those inflection points that created the increase in sales or created the increase in relationships?
The why behind it came from me being an absent father and being an absent husband. That was the why. And many people have told me over my career, you got to work smarter, not harder. And it got to the point where it's pretty frustrating. I'm like, dude, if I freaking knew how to work smarter, I'd work smarter, but I don't. This is like, I'm just going to grind through this. And it was like 2013. 2014. I did $44 million in loans in 1 year with no assistance, no leverage. I was processing my own files, everything from A to Z. And that sounds really bad. However, what was worst thing about it was I was working with 41 real estate professionals. And I use the word professionals kind of vaguely. But I was spread so thin. There's a reason why we have 2 boys. We want to give more to 2 than less to 3. Well, imagine like being spread so thin of 40 different referral partners and 40 different needs and 40 different personal relationships. It just didn't work. So that following year, from 2014 at 40 some odd million in loans to 2015, we jumped to $82 million in loans in 1 year.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
2 things that happened. Number one thing, I was able to reduplicate myself in an assistant. And I'd failed 6 times before, but Shane has been with me for 9 years now. And I was able to reduplicate myself in my assistant when I learned to hire my opposite. The other previous 5 that I hired, I was trying to reduplicate myself, right? Well, if you got 2 people that are emotional, you've got an emotional team. You've got 2 people that are chaotic, you've got a chaotic team. Shane is very even keel. He's very systems. He's an engineer, which I'm 1,000% not. And he really is able to help me systematize my business. What's great about that is the number 2 thing that we did really well that year is all those 40 some odd referral partners that I worked with previously, I worked with 0 of them the following year.
Wow.
Parted ways respectfully with them, but I really honed my skills with 7L and really focus on those relationships. I was able to onboard and be the lending partner, not the preferred lender, but the lending partner with 3 mega agents. So mega agents in my town in Dallas are agents that do over $100 million or $100 million on buyer side or more. And there's only 9 of them in the whole entire city. But I was able to land 3 of the 9, and being able to land those 3 of the 9, obviously you've got more meat on the bone, more production, more success. with less effort, less time, and less drama.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to reduplicate myself is one. Number two, being able to work with top producers instead of like the lower producers. It helped me, like, that following year in 2016 was the first year that I made a commitment to be out of the office for 20 weeks out of the year. So since 2016, I've had 20 weeks of vacation a year since then. And I mean, last week was 24 weeks out of the year. But it's always been a commitment of mine to build a great business, to go enjoy a great life.
Mm-hmm.
And we can get into the real estate aspect if you want later, but I started buying my first rental property in 2013. 2013, I bought 9 that first year, bought 9 single family. Following year, and ended up buying another 11. Once I got to like 45 single family in like 2017, I was pulling my hair out. And that 45 single family, I 1031 exchanged those into multifamilies.
Yay! That was what I was hoping I would hear.
Yeah. And last week, it's a pretty cool accomplishment. I broke 500 doors, over 500 rental doors, and 11 apartment complexes. So it's been a cool accomplishment.
I'll tell you, 500 doors with only 11 complexes is a real win as well. You know, one of the things I'm hearing here is have you read the book Vital Few at all?
No.
You should read the Vital Few. It's really about, I mean, you literally implemented it. You know, I put a little bit of it into 7L when I talk about ambassadors and focusing on your top people instead of everyone, right? But it's a really good book about the vital few people, the vital few things, the vital few places, right? And it's just it's a pretty good read. You'll like it. It'll be a quick read. Okay, so I mean, everybody here is going to be begging and asking me, is like, all right, how'd you get the 3? How'd you get the 3? Like, you know, the easy part is sometimes getting the 41, right? And you know, there's people that are like, would say that that's not the easy part either. But so, you know, I'm sure it might have been different in all 3, or it might have been you implemented the same strategy with all 3. You know, kind of what was your approach, if you will?
It's funny. There's a loan officer here at my house. I tore my Achilles, as some of you might know. So I am sitting here in a boot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to keep it elevated, but it hurts my hands.
Wally got swept up in the most popular sport in America right now. He was playing pickleball. And I have to tell you, I have more friends on my Facebook timeline who have shown injuries from pickleball than any other sport I've ever seen. They should just take up football. It would be less injurious for them. So
I mean, the sad thing is there was nothing like drastic, and literally I took a step forward, just the ground gave away from behind me, and I heard the pop.
And the burn, right? Oh.
But so I had a loan officer that was here earlier that I was coaching, and one of the biggest things that he asked the same question, like, how do you land 3 mega agents, and how the heck did you walk away from 40 some odd referral partners? And let's start with the walking away portion of it. I just had an honest and sincere conversation and said, hey, here's the deal. Like, I'm missing, you know, not my kids' birthdays, but the birthday parties for their friends. I'm missing activities on the weekend. I'm missing dinners. I'm missing this, da, 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 da. And I was just honest with them. So listen, I've got to change my business. And I've got to change my business model. Instead of me coming to you and asking you to change your business model, I've got to change the way that I do business. With that being said, here are the top 3 loan officers I think that you'd be a great fit for here locally in DFW. And I can make the introductions, but I've got to step away because I won't be able to serve you in a way that you want to be served. 100% of them were totally fine. Wow. I was a lot less valuable than I thought I was. Mm-hmm. But
are you saying you were replaceable?
100%.
We're all replaceable. That's what we've discovered in life, you know?
Exactly. But what really helped a ton was, again, me being there's 3 coaches that I hired in 2014 that poured into me. So one of the coaches was Todd Duncan, and really focused on how to really master high trust selling and really going emotionally deep with clients. The other coach was a gentleman named John Maxwell, and he really helped me grow my leadership and being able to empower and want to educate others. And the third person, the third coach that I hired was Gary Keller, and I became a one-thing coach, trainer, and speaker for Gary Keller. I'm still the only loan officer in the history of MAPS that became a one-thing certified coach speaker. So let's kind of break that down. So Todd helped me really master the mortgage process and the daily efficiencies of how to build an effective mortgage business. John really helped me grow myself. And before I was able to add value to others, I needed to learn how to add value to myself. And with Maxwell teaching me how to add value to myself and to others, I took his teachings, what he coached me on, and I go coach my referral partners, those 3 mega agents. Then when Gary would teach me about one thing and efficiency and building and scaling, I would take what he'd teach me and I'd go teach my referral partners. So
would you teach them together, or would you teach them separately, or
separately.
Were you doing those in one-to-ones?
Yeah, one-to-ones back then. And it was I couldn't gain access to the team leader because I was just a nobody in their eyes, but I can get access to the lead buyer's agent. Mm-hmm. So I just really hit it home with the 3 lead buyer's agents on those 3 teams, which trickled down to the other buyer's agents and added value to them, which allowed me to get the attention of the mega agent up top.
That's awesome. What's interesting is, as I was hearing that, is, referral mastery system is made up of three pillars, right? It's got the 3 values: love, generosity, and appreciation. But it's got these 3 pillars of self-mastery, relationship mastery, and event mastery. And I was just listening. It's like, oh my God, you went to Todd Duncan for relationship mastery. And relationship mastery is mastering one-to-ones, one-to-one relation. And you are a relationship master. I mean, you're a relationship builder. And what tells me that right off the bat, first of all, I know who you are and where you come from and how we built our relationship, but how you were so respectful. Most people just ghost the 41 on their way out and go build the relationships with the new people. And what you did was a really, respectful way to retain the relationship, even though it was no longer going to be a professional relationship, and then refer them to other LOs who might be a better fit for them. Super respectful parting of ways. And then, the missing piece I was just begging for was event mastery, right? The third principle of referral mastery system. And that's where I was going with the question of, did you teach those in a group setting, or were you teaching it as a one-to-one? Because one of the best ways to grow through event mastery is to teach or host events, and educational events can be fat. In fact, that's how KW grew their business, was through event mastery. Essentially, they did events, invited other agents from other brokerages, and it was a great event. And then afterward, the team leader would follow up and just say, hey, listen, are you getting that kind of education at the other place? No, but they do that in a one-to-one. So it was event, one-to-one, convert, or maintain. And so it was just interesting as you went through that. And I mean, I'm not sure if you could have done better coach-wise than those 3. 2014, just taking it.
Also, I'd say, don't rat me out about how bad this went. But when I hired you to come speak in Plano back in 2013, and for the record, Michael did nothing wrong. I was the Yahoo.
Oh, come on.
Imagine hired a speaker, they come out to speak. You've got no screen, you've got no microphone,
no projector,
no projector, no.
But you had a room.
And I had a room full of agents. I did that well. But I think I would take your teachings also from the housewarming party.
Yeah.
The teachings that you had that you were so gracious to kind of share with me. And then I would go take what you had and obviously give you credit for it, but go teach it and go do housewarming parties with my referral partners. And I put together, hey, for every client that we close together, I'm going to put together a $250 budget for a housewarming party. And it was a great relationship builder after closing. And it was phenomenal, the fact of now I was a separation between other loan officers out there not doing that. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to get access to all the friends and family of all the clients that I recently closed a loan for.
That's right.
And then it became a marketing marketing advantage in Dallas Fort Worth to mega agents that, again, to work with the best, you've got to be different. And working with 3 mega agents, I had to think differently and I had to run a business differently.
I mean, there's so much greatness there. Is one is we have this philosophy of each one teach one, right? Each one teach one. Like, in fact, that's a great call to action for this podcast. Is I want every listener and viewer to take one topic, one strategy, one thing you've heard from this podcast, and just teach it to another person who hasn't listened or watched the podcast. Just take one strategy you've heard and take it to them and teach it. And here's what happens, when you start to say, all right, I'm going to start teaching this, you become a better learner. And when you become a better learner, you become a better earner. But it starts with taking the commitment that I'm going to teach this to another person, because when you know that you're going to have to teach it, you start to listen to the nuances. You start to ask great questions. You start to really get to know the material. And then, I'm telling you, the house ring parties are making a huge comeback right now. There's agents who did what I did 22 years ago. They're basically the agents who do house ring parties. There's mortgage professionals who are doing what you are doing finally, where they're going, all right, we'll partner with you with every buyer. We'll do a house ring party and we'll co-sponsor it with you, right? So I absolutely love that. All right, so and basically with the mega agents, your approach was to go with the lead buyer agent as well. And I have to tell you, that's probably an untapped potential for a lot of people hearing this is, a lead buyer's agent a lot of times make their own LO decisions and who the mortgage is going to go through and that kind of thing. And so that makes a ton of sense. But most people try to bang their head, cold calling the mega agent and getting nowhere. So much good stuff right there. And all right, so now let's talk about your wealth advisor crew, right? So you didn't just stop. I mean, too many people. I love a statement you said on another podcast. You said it seems like too many LOs are short-sighted, right? They tend to see the next deal or the current deal, whereas you've had the opportunity to go from a helicopter approach and kind of see it all and see what's going on. So how did you start building relationships with wealth advisors?
Well, you get to that point. I turned 40 back in I think it was 2019, and you realize you're working up your net worth calculator and your wealth and what you have, and you look at mortgage businesses, and I was doing $100 million of loans a year, which it's the pinnacle of mortgage, and I've done that for years. But then you realize that it was 90+% purchase market business, which is great. That's what you want in a mortgage business. But then also the unfortunate thing was it was 90% referral partners, meaning as realtors. So what that challenge is, the worth of a mortgage business might be a 1-year net ROI when it's that way, but it's less than 10% was past clients. So it's actually only 3% back then was past clients. So the business was worth only X. Well, there's every year I want to grow my net worth and be wealthier as I keep going. I want the business to increase in value. So for me to increase the business in value, I had to grow relationships with my past clients in a way that no one else was doing it. So I started doing something called the annual mortgage fee, and where I'd reach out to my past clients and say, hey, I know you closed your mortgage a year ago, 3 years ago, whatever the case is. I am not calling to refinance you. Mm-hmm. Okay. The goal is today to find out we structured your mortgage A, B, and C way. Has everything held up, or is anything running inefficiently now? Meaning is you put 5% down when you bought the house. Now that you're in the house 3 years, you've got more than 20% equity, but you're paying monthly mortgage insurance. We got to get that monthly mortgage insurance removed. And you can get monthly mortgage insurance removed on a conventional loan without refinancing. Or you got your home insurance was done, that you got that on your home insurance was from 3 years ago, but your insurance has gone up and up and up. When was the last time you shopped that around? Or here in Texas, there's something called homestead exemption, and you get a discount in taxes. Well, that was never filed, so you've been paying too much in taxes. Wow. So I'm looking for ways. I'm trying to Swiss cheese the mortgage, and where are things running inefficiently, right? So as I was doing that with hundreds of past clients, I used to have an appointment every 30 minutes. So I probably have somewhere neighborhood between 15, 17, 20 appointments a day
Mm.
on my calendar that were pre-scheduled. I was come in, plug in, I would just zoom in and focus on them. Clients were asking me, well, Wally, who do you know is a good CPA?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you know is a good financial advisor? I need to get my family will set up. I need to get my trust set up. I need to get um, my life insurance set up. And they were asking me for these referrals, but I had zero financial advisors, zero CPAs, zero family will attorneys. But I'm seeing like this like gold mine of like relationships that I can like work. So that was my focus in 2019 was getting back in relationship with my database. And that's how I was 8, 10 hours a day just plugged in my computer doing annual mortgage review after annual mortgage review. So fast forward to 2019, fast forward to 2020, obviously COVID hits, we've got plenty of more time on our hands, but I started getting relationships with CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorneys, and obviously insurance. Well, 2019, I'm very proud of myself. I got challenged by Todd Duncan to give out over $100,000 in commissions to my referral partners. Well, 2019, I gave out 254,000 in commissions out to my referral partners, my realtors, my CPAs, my financial advisors, my family will attorneys, so on and so on. We call them wealth team now, so it's kind of a mouthful. So giving those referrals out to my wealth team. Well, so then the next year he's like, all right, if you exceeded my goal, you did more double, you're going to do $1 million of commissions referred out. I'm like, okay, you're flipping crazy. Well, we did, and then we get 1.1 million in commissions. Super cool. Last year, we gave over $2 million in commissions to our CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorneys. Mm. So if you're a loan officer and you don't want to write an MSA check, you don't want to feel like you can wine and dine your referral partners on a weekly basis where some other lender takes them away from you, and you want to like be able to turn off your phone evenings and weekends and have like a personal life. You've got to figure out how to add value. And the way that we've really learned how to add value is referrals back to our real estate partners, referrals back to our, it's mostly just our referral partners, real estate partners, because they're CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorneys don't call you in the evenings and weekends. They're 9-to-5ers. So focusing on a huge accomplishment last year, giving out over $2 million in commissions. And now I built a model that our current referral partners or CPAs said, hey, I have challenges in my database and I became their coach. Well, now that we've onboarded my CPAs databases, my financial advisors databases, my family will attorneys databases. And that's what took us from 2,000 people in the database, like you started the call saying, to 11,000 households in the database. Mm-hmm. Well, when you market to 11,000 households, you do annual mortgage reviews with 11,000 households. There's a lot of business that comes from that. Yeah. It's kind of simply said. But now, as we've grown and expanded our wealth team, now it's up to 26,000 households. Mm. So I cannot wait until late 2023 to 2024 when we hit a refi boom. Rates probably go from 7% down to 4%. Yep. I just can't wait.
Yeah. You're going to hire 3 refi specialists. You're just people that are calling and helping. Yeah. I mean, you got to love it.
But also think of like how I started this topic of I realized I didn't have any wealth. I didn't have any value in my business. Now I've stepped away from originating. If you call me and say, Wally, I want to do a $5 million loan, I still won't do it, but my team will. Yeah. Right. So I've stepped away from the origination aspect of it. But now I lead and grow and built the business. Now I've got a business that runs. The biggest compliment you can ever give an entrepreneur is the business runs as well, if not better, with them not involved. And that's where our business is today, that it runs as well, if not better, with me not in the picture.
Yeah, I love that. I did a breakout / presentation at a mastermind summit one time, and it was called Destroy the LO, right? And I mean, as you can imagine, the audience was LOs. So a title of Destroy the LO was somewhat attractive, right? And that's where I just painted the picture of we need to destroy the LO and in place put a business owner. Do you really have a business? And most people don't have a business. So the beauty of what you've developed is you have a business. You have a viable, wonderful, profitable, growing business, and that's the key. That's the key. And you're the type that's going to weather the storm, right? We're in a storm right now. and you're going to weather the storm because you're adaptable and you've got enough leverage and scale that you can do it.
But also, when I said a step away from origination, I stepped away from origination back in February of this last year, and I still have my team, but it's gotten to the point now that the succession plan has started. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see 2023 that now my team is taken over. My team, the leader of the leaders of the teams have now taken over. I've stepped out of anything to do with mortgage on a daily basis, like originating loans wise. And I'll still run the business and I'll still grow and scale and recruit. But I'm very excited to see where they take it. And now it's theirs as much as it was mine.
Yeah. I love that. And what's interesting is how much it kind of parallels some things that I've gone through is I don't take on coaching clients, and I haven't taken on coaching clients for 2 or 3 years, other than 2 or 3 exceptions, like you. So, so I don't, but there's just at times, there's going to be an opportunity where it's going to help you as much as it helps them. And I also really felt like one of the missing arms of your business was event mastery, was, this element of attracting your database and building a tribe of trust. You had Team Wally and you had a great team and you had a great database. What's the bridge between that? It's this thriving community that congregates on a regular basis through events and different things like that. So a lot of coaches. You are a master coach. So what made you decide to reach out to me and get us started together and working on things? What were you really looking for? And I'm interested, quite honestly, if you've seen that, if you've gotten what you were looking for or matched the expectations. And I'm open. You could say no, and I'm good with it. I mean, we'll figure out what that looks like. But I think
you've exceeded my expectations for sure. But the most beautiful thing is you poured so much in the team and not necessarily me. I think mistakes I've made in the past where I had to go hire a coach and a coach would coach me, and then it become my responsibility to coach the team. And then it's just so time consuming and you run out of scalability. Right. So it's been great that you helped coach the team. But the number one thing that you hit the nail on the head is I look at the business every single year, and I'm about to do it here starting December. And I try to figure out where's the weakest part of the business. And I focus on the next 12 months of taking the weakest part of the business to make it the strongest part of the business. Mm-hmm. And when we looked at that back in 2020, the weakest part of our business, and again, we're coming out of COVID, so it was very clear to us back then.
That's right.
It was the emotional connection face-to-face with our clients after closing. Calling them, doing an annual mortgage review once a year is great and all. And I'm very happy that we do that. But if we won't see them. So the emotional connection was starting to dwindle. So as we realized that, and I don't mean this in a sexist way, this is just an honest way. I'm a dude. Like me throwing a party is like having you come over, order some pizza and hang out. Like there is no invites and following up and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So the weakest part of our game was events, and I couldn't take the team where the team needed to go. And you, Michael, could. So I'd say that's the number one reason I hired you as a coach, is because you had wisdom and experience and knowledge in something that I did not. Mm-hmm. And it was a shortcut to my success, simply because I can go spend the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years learning it, mastering it, and coming back and teaching my team, or I can just write you a check every month and you pour into us and you shorten our learning curve. Yeah. So
that's what a business owner does. Right. What you did is you essentially hired me as your sales trainer, and to train the staff, which is brilliant and honestly should be the way that people do it, period. And why is that? Because when you bring it back, they tend to discount a little bit, like dad, right? And you've got 2 teenage sons. You know what I'm talking about. I have a teenage son. I try to help him all the time. He doesn't want my help. It's amazing what I know football wise and the amount of advice I've given him that he hasn't taken, right? It's just how it is. But when I tell them, they're like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest idea ever." And you're like, "Yeah, I've been telling you that for 5 years." But it's one of those where I truly believe there's a magic in the way that you did that. I really do. And I'm very appreciative. All right. So two things that I want to kind of wrap this up with. One is, you know, I truly believe one of the biggest opportunities in the marketplace today is the housewarming parties. I just do. When the buyers are out there, they're looking. When they find a house, a way to make them very happy with their purchase is a housewarming party 30 to 60 days after closing. I truly. The other one is the initial consultation. I believe we missed the boat even way back during the hottest part of the market. Is people were just such in a rush that, we're seeing a lot of buyer's remorse right now. There's people who bought this year, bought last year, who have buyer's remorse, but you can conquer buyer's remorse with two things: a really good initial consultation and a really good housewarming party, right? So the initial consultation, you do an initial consultation when you do a mortgage application, your team does, and you have a way to create opportunities when you do the initial consultation. Can you share like how you get those opportunities from the initial consultation?
So we built the business as a 6-lane highway, and that 6-lane highway is the referral from obviously real estate agent, CPA, financial advisor, family will attorney, insurance, and trust. So when we're going through the mortgage, there's specific points in the mortgage process and the application process that we're bringing up success stories that we've had with someone building it, having a trust, and also unfortunately failure stories of someone passing away and not having a family trust. So, and I always bring it up, and my team brings up now that, hey, it's my responsibility to help you play the best defense as I can. I can't go out there and grow your wealth, but I can make sure the mortgage that we structure helps give you the best defense as I can. But I need to surround you with a team to help you create offense. That's a financial advisor. That's a family will attorney. That's insurance. That's a CPA. And we're going through the process. We're walking through this early in the process. We earlier did this probably like 2018, 19, 20. A mistake that we make is we try to give the referrals out there. And then it was just too much at that process. So now we do a 7-day call after closing, a 30-day call after closing, a 6-month middle year call after closing, and an annual mortgage review. So it allows us to verbally and physically touch our clients 4 times a year after closing, and we start bringing it up then. Remember at time of loan application, I told you about the success story with the Smith family. I want to make sure you go down the same path. Remember the time of loan application, I talked about the disaster story for the Smith family. This is where we're going to add. And it shows credibility because I talked about it a few months back and I'm doing it now. And I'm reminding them that I talked about it and I'm doing it now. So it shows a lot of credibility, and that's where we get a lot of referrals. I think like last month we had over 127 referrals that we referred out in 1 month. And being able to refer that many clients out, you're blessed to receive a lot of referrals back. Do you get one from one back? Absolutely not. Now, I wish you did, yes. But if it's high 1 month or low 1 month, whatever it is, it's just you're adding value, giving and giving. It comes back to you threefold.
Here's what I love about this. Like, you're a referral hub. And for a mortgage person to say, oh man, does every referral you send out bring back one? And it's not, usually I'm hearing that from a realtor, right? And it's like, well, I give them 10 and they never refer me, right? So you flip the script on that totally. Is you're having the problems of a referral hub. Like, we're referral hubs. Like, we're connecting people, introducing people, referring people all the time. And we don't care if it comes back 1-to-1. Right? We're still going to do it because the people are going to get great service. And, when we send out 10 and one generates another one back, we're thrilled with it. So I love that. And it really sounds like my wealth building consultation kind of strategy in a nutshell is in the beginning. At the initial consultation, we'll ask them, on a scale of 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, how would you rate your financial planner if you have one? And it's like, I don't have one, so it's a 0. It's like, all right, well, we have 3 financial planners. If we feel like one's a fit, would you like us to introduce them to you? And they go yes or no, right? CPA, mortgage professional, lender, inspector, and then it's like, so if they say, yeah, I've got a mortgage professional, it's Team Wally, and it's like, all right, well, how would you rate them on a scale of 0 to 10? 10. Oh my God, this guy's fantastic. Well, would you mind introducing me to them? Because we consider ourselves a 10-level business. We want to network and partner with people who are 10-level business, not just in this case, but we could refer them other people in our marketplace. And they're like, yeah, I'd love to introduce you, right? So then we get that introduction. Well, we've got a referral to a top mortgage professional or CPA. And then 90 days after closing. So we have closing, and then 30 to 60 days, we have the housewarming party. And then 30 days after that to sometimes 60, we have a wealth building consultation. And so that couple, or whoever they are, single, female, whatever, single, male, they come in, and around the table are financial planner, trust attorney, insurance. They're literally, and their one job is you got to bring one tip that's specific to this client, right? And then some of these are not even their client yet. The wealth advisor in some cases hasn't been, but they become clients because they've had an opportunity to, be part of the wealth team, which I didn't call it a wealth team, but damn, now that you threw that out there, I may have to borrow that term. I love that term, right?
Well, also, I think, there's things that you stumble on that are really, they're godsends, candidly. And one of the things I stumbled on was, would you know that what is the number one referral partner a financial advisor prospects? What's the number one industry that they go after to really try to grow up their business?
I would maybe say like a recruiter, right? Or someone that's moving jobs so that they can take the 401k over. But I could be very wrong.
It's a CPA. The number one referral partner to a financial advisor is a CPA.
Oh, I hope everybody wrote that down because I'm writing it down right now.
If I'm in the mortgage business and we qualify our clients off what their employment is and what they file on their tax returns, what is on every single client of mine's tax returns?
Yeah.
CPA contact information.
Yeah. Brilliant.
That's just a quinky ding godsend that is one of these things like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Tax returns do I have in my system, right?
Isn't it amazing the data they give to get a mortgage? I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, that might be the best data house in the world is what you do for that. All right. So this has been voluminous as well as just, excellent. All right. I've got 8 quick questions, right? So now here's the thing, forward thinking, right? 2023, right? So I'm going to ask you some questions about right now as we're thinking about goals and systems for 2023. All right. So what are you going to keep doing from 2022 in 2023? What are you going to keep doing? What are something you've been doing that you're going to keep doing?
I'm scaling the client concierge team. So you just heard about the 7-day call, 30-day call, 6-month call, annual mortgage review. Yep. That's been something I've kept private to our team. So I've got other loan officers that work in our branch and that they don't get access to that. So moving forward, starting in January, I'm hiring client concierge teammates for those loan officers also. So as I've stepped away from origination, I've got more time on my hands, and I see how much it's helped Team Wally. Well, with that being said, it can also help Team Tammy and Team Chris and Team Don, so on, some of the other teammates that are not on my team. And it allows me to 2 things. 1, they do more production. They make more money. I make more money. Number 2, stickiness factor. I want to go deep in relationship with them and add value to their database. Why would they ever want to leave me because some other branch manager offers them a higher commission split?
Right. Love that. All right. So what are you going to improve? And maybe that's the same answer. I don't know. But what do I'm doing KISS here, right? Keep, improve, start, stop. Typical coaching questions, right? And we're asking these plenty right now because this is the goal setting time and really talking about 2023. So what are you going to improve? What's the one thing you think you should improve on?
I can answer that in December for sure when I do a deep dive in the business, but I'd probably honestly candidly say the same thing. I think, I hate calling it Team Wally. I just call it TW. TW kind of runs on its own now, and they don't need me, and I'm enjoying having my time back. So it would be focusing on how to add value to solo loan officers to help them grow teams. That's literally my focus in 2023. Yeah. How do I add value to solo loan officers to help them build a team?
Yeah, I love that. What are you going to stop doing? And it sounds like maybe stop originating, stop more things on the mortgage side and be more visionary, more the leader type, right?
Yeah, I would say being an emotional person, you can emotionally connect to the outcome. And you're so passionate about it. I'm gonna stop beating myself up
Mm,
for if they don't implement what I'm trying to teach them. It's not for everyone,
mm-hmm.
right? And I would beat myself up for where did I fail? Where could I have taught better? Where could I have improved? Where? And it becomes exhausting.
Yeah.
So it's the mindset to answer your question is I'm going to provide the opportunity, but it's their responsibility to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah. What's interesting is how really focused your first answer was. And it really applies to like the next, all 8 of these things that I'm going to ask you, which is just like, that's such a singular focus types of brilliance is, you talk about scaling up the concierge service and it's like, I mean, you're going to keep doing it. You're going to improve by doing that. You're going to start with new people, right? And then what are you going to stop doing? Right. And it's like, all right, you're going to stop doing those, but you're going to start coaching them on that type of thing. All right. So,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I'd say the most important thing about all that, Michael, is the mortgage industry branch managers help their loan officers make more money. There's not one single branch manager. And if there's somebody on this call that is a branch manager that does this next thing, please reach out to me. I'd love to learn from you. But there's not one single branch manager that helps loan officers grow their net worth, their value of their business.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't get ownership of it. It's the loan officer's business.
Yeah.
So that's why most branch managers don't focus on it. If I can focus on building them a database and building depth into their mortgage business, I've increased the value of their business, not my business, their business,
Mm-hmm.
right? So not only can I help you increase your income, but I can help you increase your net worth because I've helped you increase the value of your business.
Yeah, you're not even talking about golden handcuffs, really, right?
No.
Is golden handcuffs are investing in something together, and you both see the thing. But in this case, they're really going to see mostly the fruits of the labor, so to speak. So, love that.
Yeah.
All right. So the 4 clarifying question, real quick. All right. So, where do you see your biggest opportunity in 2023? What's your biggest opportunity right now?
I was not planning on saying this, but
These are the best, dude. I'm going to use this in the freaking opening. This is our clip. We're cutting this one out.
Then you can. Is this pause for a second here, real quick? Is this live today, or will be posted like Monday?
It'll be posted a Tuesday in the future.
A Tuesday in the future. Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. That'll tell you.
Yeah.
So I'm resigning from Fairway Monday morning.
Oh wow, yeah.
To launch my own mortgage brand as a company called Empower Lending. Empower.
Is it M with a capital M? Is it I Empower or E Empower?
E Empower.
Okay.
Empower Lending, and it's super passionate of mine. And it's funny this is my life plan. You can see it from when I was 24 years old.
Wow.
And is always to build my own mortgage company and build my own mortgage brand. So as I've stepped away from originating and really stepped away from the team, being able to launch my own mortgage company brand it's just a dream of mine. So that's my focus in 2023 is how do I launch a brand that not only helps loan officers increase their income, but increase their net worth through their business value. Wow.
That's beautiful. All right. So your biggest opportunity, you're taking advantage of it. And, what's amazing once again is you've almost kind of answered the next 3 questions in a way, right? Is where do you have momentum right now? Like, where do you feel like you have momentum?
Where do I feel I have momentum? Buying. Really buying.
By the way, I saw that literally happen this year, dude. Like, that's one of my joys of coaching is I saw buy-in this year. I saw a not sure, right, for whatever reason, to this holistic coming together that has been beautiful. So I'm just,
Yeah.
I have to say that like a dad,
Well, I mean, I think that's it though. It's just I've been yelling from the rooftops for years to my team, but they don't listen to me. It's like the same thing as your kids. You know, they do what you do, they don't do what you say. And it was great to see them have buy-in. And now what's great about the buy-in, so 2021 was where you came in 2022 and they got buy-in. Now they have something beautiful called ownership.
Mm-hmm.
The succession plan has begun.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're growing to owning their own business that the team helped them build. And with them having that ownership, I could have never accomplished that with them if they didn't have buy-in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and culture, right? I mean, sometimes when they buy in, they're buying into a culture, right? And what now they're all rowing in the same direction. So there's a beauty to it, and I love what you're doing with your ownership, but you're also opening up ownership to everybody that's on the ride with you. There's just a lot of power to that. All right. So what is the one thing such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier and or unnecessary?
That's easy. Stop doing loans.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't
Stop
that
doing
funny?
loans.
You and I both know Pat Hyven,
Yeah.
right? And I remember in 2003 or four, I was teaching class, but when Pat Hyben speaks, I set and take notes. In fact, I took notes when any of the other cadre. But listen, I'm a cadre member. I'm part of the panel. I'm like supposed to be important, right? We're talking about different things, and I'm like, I'm never giving up listings. I'm never going to give up listing appointments or going to seller appointments because I was batting 1,000 and they're all referrals. So they're easy. And this guy, and he comes up and gets in my face. I'm sitting down. He gets in my face and he goes, Michael Maher, let go. Let go. You must let go. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, I'm a star. I'm a cadre. What do you and it just embarrassed me in front of everybody. And what's amazing is he was 100% right. The number one thing that took our business to the next level was me letting go of what I thought I was the only one that could do. And powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a seductive ego thing of feeling, at least I'll speak for myself, is this feeling like there's no one that can do it as well as you can do it.
Yeah.
And before you know it, I am very proud to say my team does loans today better than I ever did.
And I have to say that I have a team of coaches who coach better than I do. And I used to say that maybe just to say it. And now I am 100% convinced that they do coaching better than I do coaching. And
they have buy-in,
yeah,
and they have ownership. They have buy-in, and they have ownership.
Oh my God, dude, I'm getting chills. All right, last thing. What is your biggest challenge right now? What's your biggest challenge right now?
Golf.
Yeah, especially with a torn Achilles, really hard to golf.
Well, it's just I love playing golf, and I usually play 3-4 times a week, and now I miss it a ton. But it's just I need to continue to focus on building the brand and building the vision, bringing this company to life, which I will. Yeah. But just the distractions of wanting to go play golf is literally my biggest challenge.
And isn't it amazing how like the biggest challenge and the one thing question just go hand in hand sometimes? It's just, the one thing a lot of times is that biggest challenge. And like a top producer, we identify the biggest challenge quickly and typically solve it very quickly too, which feeds into the one thing, question as well. And now I know Braden plays golf with you. Does Alex play golf as well?
Alex is not. Our boys are super duper different. So Braden and I, we had a father and son trip last year. We went to Kiawah Island, played golf for 3 days in a row, 36 holes a day. It was like heaven. And Alex is my engineer buddy.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I just said golf was heaven, but I enjoyed Alex's trip more than I even enjoyed Braden's trip, simply because he got accepted to like a summer program at MIT. He was like a freshman, and we go out there but before I can't even spell a word engineering, So I'm watching all these YouTube videos before I'm going out there, and I've got these 5 questions that I memorized. And I go out there in front of the professor, and I'm like, I gotta show that I'm halfway intelligent. And I'm trying to impress my little 14-year-old kid. And all I can remember was 3 of the 5 questions. I don't even remember them now, but all I remember was 3 of the 5 questions. And the professor said one of the questions, "Oh, that's a really good question." Da, 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 da. I'm like, yeah, like I got a good question in there. And but no, MIT was amazing. We visited Harvard. We're out there, and I never got a chance to go to college.
Yeah.
So it's just pretty cool to see like him wanting to like just expand and live his life outside and not even remotely think like he wants to be mortgaged, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, you've caught up and passed the father and husband issues that you had in the past, and you created a way to solve it. I got a little emotional there, and you created a way to solve it, and then implemented it, and are continuing to implement it, and just. I'm blessed to call you a friend, man. And I really appreciate our relationship and you as a leader and as a human being, and just really appreciate the relationship we've built and will continue. So I first and foremost want to just say thank you for that.
Yeah, man, it's been a joy watching your climb and the business, everything you built. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I remember meeting you the first time, and I just felt like an emotional best friend connection from like the first moment. Yeah. And it's that sincerity and authenticity coming from you it's helped me grow so much. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Even the hot tub in Colorado. Yeah. Or was it the sauna? Maybe it was the sauna. Yeah. I knew it was freaking hot in a cold area. That's what I just remember. So yeah. That's good. Bros got to hang out together. It's just one of those things. Well, thank you so much for being a guest here today on Referrals Podcast. So much value, buddy. Thank you.
You bet, man. Well, let me know if there's anything else that you need help with, or I'd love to get on with you guys down the road. So if you any time slots ever down the road, maybe next year or so, I'd love to help out.
Oh, I'm writing that down. That's already happening. So we'll make sure we get you on. So much wisdom and stuff to share. And I can't wait to get the update on the mortgage company down the road. That's going to be exciting times in the Team Wally world. TW is on fire. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just telling you, if you didn't get anything from this podcast, just unsubscribe, don't share, don't like, don't comment, don't come back. Right. I mean, I say that with all sincerity, because today we unpacked what it really is the success story. Right. Is what does it look like when you build your business based on love, generosity, and appreciation? Listen, it's not freaking sunshine and rainbows all the time. It's tough, and it's life, and it's solving problems and conquering challenges. But it's also achieving dreams and creating a better life. And that's what I love about today's interview. I took 2.5 pages of notes, and I know him really well. 2.5 pages. I hope that you took some notes today on this Referrals podcast, and thank you so much, everybody. I mean, over 20,000 people are listening or watching this every single month. I'm blessed to say that, and I love that you're here, and I know you got value, but let me know about it. Go to joingengen.com. and get in the generosity generation. Share with me what you got from today's podcast, and let's have a conversation around like being a master relationship builder like Wally. And the last but not least is I have to tell you, I already know the next podcast after this one, you're going to your jaw is going to hit the ground when you listen and watch to that one next week. It's going to blow your mind. So I can't wait to share that one with you, and I hope you enjoyed today. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time on Referrals Podcast. Thanks, everyone.